Hi everybody, Alicia here. I am doing a video that some people had requested on a tutorial to create and adapt images for students with visual impairments using the app Procreate. And I wanted to start off by saying that the app does cost $9.99, but it's a one-time purchase. And I haven't had to purchase anything additional to go with it or anything like that. And I want to start off by showing you some examples of how I have taken some images and edited them to make them more accessible as raised line images. And then I will show you how to create an image from scratch. I also wanted to add that I will be using an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil in this video. I'm not sure about using it with another type of tablet or anything, but that's the tools that I'm using to make this video. I first wanted to show a couple of examples, and this is my first one, so I'm going to show you what the original looked like. So this is what the teacher gave me. They were doing something with a local theater to go see the Nutcracker, or what they were going to watch it virtually. And this teacher has two of my students, and they would need a raised line image to participate in this activity. And as you can see, it's very busy. Like the bows are very small. The bows are very small. The circles are really small. And it's just busy. And it wasn't a very good quality copy. Now, this is a picture of the picture, so I uploaded the picture of the worksheet or the coloring page that the teacher gave me, and then once I was finished, this is what it looked like. So the circles were a little bit bigger and there wasn't, the candy cans don't have the lines on them, but the shape is there. It just made it a little more accessible. They could still talk about the same things on the Christmas tree. Maybe they would talk about, have them count the garland strings or the balls that are on the Christmas tree, or to count the candy canes. Whatever they were going to do, they would still be able to kind of participate in that way if it wasn't 100% exact. For example, I know that I didn't copy all the bows, but they still had the same thing that their peers did, just more accessible. Same thing with the ballerina. So that's the original, and that's the copy that I made. And it's basically like tracing, except a lot easier. So what has grabbed everyone's kind of attention are the images that I made for spatial concepts. And so what I started with on these were, I had a picture of a bed and a picture of a cat. And it ended up being this. That's what I'm going to print out. That's what I added to this worksheet that I created in Canva. It just makes things a lot easier. So, with that said, we're going to talk about how did I do that so that you can do it with your students. Okay, so I wanted to show this first, and let's say you have an image that's not a common image to be like a doodle or a drawing or something like a Braille writer. You don't really see a lot of simple drawings of a braille writer. So I was able to use Procreate to create a line drawn image so that I could use that. I was going to use it for something different, not for my students, but if you wanted to do that, you could. So we're going to go back, and whenever you first open the app, it brings you to like your gallery, and you can see all the images here. You start with some of these. Procreate is technically like a creative app. A lot of people use it for art. You can make videos with them, make your make little movies, I guess. But I am not artistic, so I got it to play around with some painting and some hand lettering and things like that. And then it dawned on me when the speech teacher sent me this image that she wanted to go with one of the books they were reading. You can see it's textured and things like that. So she wanted to have a sheet to go with it that they could color or whatever. And whatever that she wanted to do, she wanted a tactile image. So I racked my brain on how could I do that, because like I said, I can't draw. I am not artistic in that way. But it just dawned on me one day that I could take a picture and be able to trace it, like I said. So that's what I ended up with, and I was able to put it through my pictures in a flash. It came out tactile, and she loved it. Okay, so we're getting into the tutorial part, and I start from scratch. Basically, like when you open the app, this is what it looks like, and I kind of tell you the icons, but I'm just telling you the basic information to do what I've done to create my images and to move the images around and manipulate them. And I know I repeat myself, but it's so that I can make sure that you are hearing that a couple times while you see it. And I also want to apologize. My allergies have been insane, so I know that you're having to listen to me sniffle and sneeze, and I apologize. But it's just, I want to get this video out here so you can see it and you can use it and work with it. But up in the top right, you have select, import photo, and then you can tap the plus, and that will give you an option for a new canvas. And that can be the size of the screen, it can be square, it could be the size of a 4x6 photo paper. It doesn't really matter how you work on it, because I usually just default to a paper when I'm working on these images, because I may want to I want to kind of gauge how big they are if I'm printing directly from Procreate. But with that said, when you open it, you will open it into landscape mode. And then you use 2 fingers and you can pinch it to zoom in or out. And then you can, when you tap instead of pinching, if you rotate, you can then turn that virtual paper canvas into a portrait setting. So on this screen, what you will see is on the left, I have my user interface, I think is what they call it. on this app. Okay, it's just the interface is what they call it. But this changes my brush size, so I could have it very small if I was on the right thing. I could have it very small. I could have it big, whatever I wanted. And then you have the opacity. So you could have it light to full 100% darkness. And this also is where you change if you're in the eraser or the smudge setting. Is where you would change it. But some of this I'm not going to talk about because you don't need to use it for what I'm explaining. So up at the top you have left you see gallery. That just takes you back to the main page to see all your creations. Then you can click on or tap on the wrench, and you have add, canvas, share, video, preferences. That's where you can do a left interface. You can make it lighter or dark interface. I am right-handed, but I prefer it to be on the left because what happens is I find that my hand covers that up and I forget to change the settings as I need to. With that said, you can on add, this is where, so under the wrench or actions, you have the add. That's where you can insert photos, take a picture like I did with the worksheet to go with the book. And then you have canvas where you change the size of it. There's animation assist. I've never once used that. The drawing guide may help if you're kind of freehanding something. But what you can do is click add and then take a photo. And you can see my blanket there. But you could take a picture of whatever the teacher had on the board or whatever. So the next thing that you'll see under actions, we talked about adding the photos, is the share. You can share it as a PNG, a JPEG, a PDF. And if you don't want your image to have a background, then you can send it as a PNG, or if you just want to send it as a PDF to share it with someone on your team and then they can edit or do whatever, you can do that. And then you see animated GIF, animated PNG, blah, blah, blah. I don't use any of that. Video, it's just a time-lapse replay of you editing and changing the things on your image. The next is, it looks like a little wand with like some magic sparkles. It's just adjustments for colors, balance. I've never once went in there. I don't even understand what all this stuff is. The next is it looks like a ribbon, but that is where if you're doing an image, you can select parts of it and duplicate it, like if you were drawing trees, and you could resize them or copy them and flip them. But again, you probably aren't going to need that unless you are making an image from scratch, and that's not what we're doing today. So then the main one that you're going to be using is this. It looks like a mouse pointer on the top left of the screen. And that's what we will use to manipulate our images that we create. Now, on the right hand interface, on the far right, you have the color selector. So right now, alright, so this section of the audio was messed up, and all I'm showing you is at the top right, there's a color circle, and when you tap on it, that's how you can change like your background color, your pencil or eraser color. There's options for different palette themes. There's different ways to pick your color, and that's just basically what I'm showing you here. If your student needs a certain color or contrast, you can make the background whatever color, then you can draw or edit in whatever color on top of that background. And so that's what you can see here. I believe I am trying to show you changing the background. Yes. So I have went into the layers tab, which I'll show you in just a second, selected the background, and then I'm changing it to whatever color I'm getting ready to change it to. I think I changed it to green. So if you needed a blue background with yellow lines, that's how you would do it, is to select the background on layers, which I'll show you in just a second, and change it to blue or yellow or whatever you need. You get the point. So we're going to, what I've done is, you saw the cat in the bed and all that, the ones that I've created, but I wanted to show you something completely different from scratch. So let's say we have a young boy and we're talking about spatial concepts also. But he doesn't like cats and he doesn't like the color pink. Maybe he just needs white on black. Okay? That's what he needs his images to be in. So I have went to Google, or I'll just show you from scratch. So what I did was I went to Google, and you can see here I've searched for dog drawing, and you just want something simple. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you can pick whatever you want to. But I thought this image was kind of nice and easy, and if we want to make this a Dalmatian, we can put spots on it. Or if we want it to just be a plain brown dog or a black dog on a white background, we can do that. So you will tap and hold and click add to photos, this option here. Oops. Well, I thought it would show where I was tapping, but they're about the third from the bottom says add photos. So then let's say the little boy likes fire trucks. I think I said that already. You can Google fire trucks. I usually do fire truck drawing. Usually I do drawing, clip art, or sometimes you can do icon. I wanted to clarify, you can use doodle, drawing, clip art, or doodle to find some simple images. You have all these options, so obviously you're not going to want to draw this for your student. That's too much going on, and it's just too much. So I scrolled down through here, and I picked, where is it? I picked this image. No, that's not the one I picked. This is the one I picked. So, now you might think, are you going to draw the nose? No, I'm going to show you how I get rid of the extra that I don't want in the app. So, again, I just tap and hold, and I click tap add to photos. So then, I'm going to go into Procreate. And first, I'm going to work on my fire truck. And I'm going to tap the wrench for actions, and then add and insert a photo. And then I'm going to go and find my fire truck. And there is my fire truck. Now, I can adjust how big or small I want it. I can zoom out of the page, see how much space of the page that I'm taking up, or I can make it really small and then zoom in to make it larger, which is usually what I do. I wanted to clarify again, that wherever you put this fire truck or image on the page, whatever size, that is not final. So don't worry about trying to get it perfect right now, because you will find that it's easier to manipulate the screen or the page, just like if you were writing on a desk and moving the paper around to get it to where you were comfortable. So, let me fix this. Now we've got our fire truck in here. It's upside down. There we go. So, what you need, the most important thing that we're going to do and talk about is layers. So you think of like tracing paper, that kind of thing. You think that you've got clear sheets of paper and you're drawing everything, and then you can mush together what you want and make it a whole new image. So on the top left, beside where to the left of the color, you have layers. And you can see I've got 2 layers right now. I have a background color, so I could change that to red, black, green. If I needed white on green or black on green, I can do that. But what I do is I always just start with, I just work black on white. Okay? So I'm going to undo my change the background color. And the way that you undo is you tap with 2 fingers. And then to redo, it's a 3-finger tap. So undo is 2 fingers, redo is 3 fingers. So now I'm back to my white background. I can zoom in, and if it just bothers you that this paint palette is here, all you have to do is make sure that you're on the layer with the original image, okay? And then click your eraser, and you can just click your eraser, and then you can erase whatever elements of this image that you don't want. So you may have to change the brush size to erase an element of the image, but I'm going to erase this fire hose. So now I've just got the truck. I could erase the what's it called? A ladder. The ladder, if I wanted to. I could erase the inside of the tires if I wanted to. So, but I'm going to leave those. And you think, okay, so now we just trace it. No. You want to make, when in doubt, make a new layer. So I'm going to tap on the 2 squares that are to the left of the color. That brings up my layers options. I'm going to add a new layer. The extra icons that are at the to the left of the layers is the eraser. And you can see different brush options. So you will have sketching, inking, drawing, painting, artistic calligraphy. There's a whole lot. And you can pick whichever one works best for you. Okay? So when I have this brush library open, either for my eraser or for the pen or the brush, you'll see it says TVI above sketching, inking. That is a new section that I created, and with the pen that I created. I can share that, and I say it in the video, but it's one that I created because of my perfectionist qualities. I wanted something that was what I wanted, that I couldn't seem to find. However you like to look, however you works best for you. I am a perfectionist, so I did not like that I was using inking to have a solid line. And you can see, like, this technical pen, when I draw with it, that's not it. When I draw with the technical pen, you can see it tapers, and that's dependent on the pressure that you're putting on your Apple Pencil. Okay. So let me go back in here. So on my eraser, usually what I do is I go to painting and I just select a round brush. I make sure the opacity's up and then I just erase like that. And you want to be very careful to make sure that you're not erasing part of your image that you need. So you just want to pay attention to when you're tapping and trying to move, make sure that you're not erasing something that you need. Okay. So I got all that done. Then you have the smudge tool. That's one of those artsy things that I know nothing about. So then you have the brush library. And again, you have those same options that you do for the eraser. And you can pick whichever one you want. You could do a pencil. So there's this pencil. I can't even attempt to say that name. And you can test it out to see what it looks like. It's pretty good. But if you look, you can see it's kind of looking like a pencil. Now, if you can draw and you need that look, that's probably what's going to work best for you. But for me, all I needed was a line that stopped when I stopped and started when I started. So I was frustrated and I went in and I made my own brush. And I believe I can share that. If you don't find something that you like, just let me know. But so we're ready to start tracing our image. Now, you see I'm on layer 2. But if I try to sketch over this line, I'm not really going to be able to see where exactly I'm at. And if you just saw that, I drew over this image, but when I erased, it didn't affect my original image because it's on a different layer. That's why I say, when in doubt, add a new layer, because you don't want to erase something that you need at whatever point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my layers back up, and you can see my layer 1, and then there are check boxes. So the check boxes toggle what you're looking at. If I don't want to see layer 1, I can take it off. If I don't want to see the background color, I can take it off. But it's hard to trace black on black and see how your lines look. So if you tap this in, there's some different things you can do. But what we're mainly worried about is this opacity. So I'm going to turn the opacity down so that it's light. So that then when I go back to layer 2 and make sure I'm selected on layer 2, I'm going to select my pencil. And then I'm going to start tracing. So the cool thing about this is, I don't know about you guys, but I can't draw a straight line to save my life. But if I go in here and I start to draw, when I get done, I can hold it, and you can see it automatically straightened it out. And now I can move it to put it at whatever angle I want it at. Okay? Same thing with a circle. Draw a circle and hold, and it smooths it out. I can do it with a square. Oh, that's a terrible square. I can do it with a square or whatever shape that is. Or I can do it with a triangle. Okay? And it's not going to make it a perfect triangle. It's just going to smooth out however you've drawn it. So if I draw more of an egg shape and hold, it's going to keep that oval or egg shape. So anyway, I'm going to just trace this. Well, I'm going to show you first. So here we are. We're starting to draw. And maybe you need a line that's bolder than that. Because if we zoom out, we have it about like we would a piece of paper. That's about how bold my line's going to be. So let's make it a little bit bolder. I'm going to erase this line. And then I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to zoom back in. Now, That's a little bit bolder than what I wanted. So you just have to play with it to see what you need. That'll be okay. So I just draw and I hold it because I just need a straight line. And I just snap those lines together. And boom, I've got straight lines. And I'm making progress on drawing this image for my student. And the good thing about being able to pick these images is you are increasing your students' attention to what you're discussing. And, I might have found something online that would be of a lot of interest to my kindergarten student who likes cats, but my 4th grade boy who, hates the color pink is not going to respond. Obviously, we might not be working on the same concepts, but you get what I'm saying. Students all have different interests. They all like different things, and they're going to respond to something different. You never have 2 students the same, right? So, that's the benefit of being able to do this. There is a little bit of a learning curve, obviously. But when is there not, right? In our line of work. So, you can see what I just did on this ladder. Instead of doing these curved ends, I'm just making them straight. Because that is not an essential detail to this image. Is that going to change the student's concept of what they're learning or the information that they gather from our lesson together? No. So, that's just going to save me a headache from trying to make sure that it's perfect in my mind. So, when in doubt, save yourself some heartache. And you can see I'm just zooming. I'm manipulating this image as I need it. And I do apologize for any of the people watching this that have a visual impairment themselves. I have not gotten to try this out with any accessibility features on, but I know that you can see how close in that I have zoomed on this, but I don't know about using like a voiceover with it, or to see the icons or have it read the icon names or options and then you copy the lines. I don't know. I'm just saying, I know this isn't a very accessible app for those with visual impairments, is basically what I'm saying. But you can see I'm just drawing them the best I can. And then I'm holding so that they snap and clean up the image. And I will say, you use 2 fingers to manipulate and turn and twist or whatever you're doing. Because if you just use one, it's going to think you're trying to draw. So. There we go. So, another good thing about this is, say you get a Nutcracker ballerina image for your student, and you want your student to be able to participate with their peers. And I feel like this is a good option to just further help our students be included in with their peers. Now, is it an essential activity? No. But, it's nice for our students to be able to say, oh, I like fire trucks. My dad's a fireman, and I've got to climb he took me up on the ladder in his truck. Or, build those social skills by talking about the activity that the whole class is doing. Not, oh no, I didn't get to do that because I didn't get to have that worksheet in a raised line form. So you can see I'm doing the tires now, and I'm drawing a circle the best I can, and then I'm holding, and it smooths that out. Because I don't know about you, but trying to draw a circle is the bane of my existence. I do not do well with it. Oops. But I really like that I can help my students be included in everything. You know, it's not like, well, sorry, you can't do that because, you know, they gave me that yesterday. This is something that's pretty quick that you can do. You know, you don't have to pull out the wiki sticks and try to figure out how exactly you're going to make it accessible. You can jump on your iPad, and you know, once you really get comfortable with it, you will be able to find these little tricks that help save you time. And there's a learning curve, I'm not going to lie, but you'll be able to do it a lot quicker. You know, obviously once you learn, you get better. Also, if you're not like me and don't have to draw the same line 4 different times, it doesn't take as long. So, there we go. And see, we're almost done. And I know that I've been talking through the whole thing, but I want you to just see how easy it really is to do this. Like, I would not mind a teacher saying, hey, I need this for the student. We're going to do a math unit, and today's theme is fire trucks, or whatever. You might be working on career education, and, you know, maybe that child really likes fire trucks or puppies or kittens or whatever it is, you know, and you can accommodate to that and increase their attention to task. So, and you are able to make different activities for your students. So it's not like, well, I know you hate cars, but all I have is car theme cards for whatever activity you're doing. Or just, you get what I'm trying to say. Oops. I just like that I can help my students be more engaged in what I'm doing because I've been able to find something that they like. Alright, so I think I've got one more ladder. And I just turn it however is comfortable for me. And if you don't want to do an element of the image, like, I'm not going to do another line down here at the bottom of this ladder. I'm just going to make all my lines connect. So that's a lot simpler. You know, it's just like the Christmas tree that I did. You don't need to have the lines on the candy cane, because you'll know by the shape that that's a candy cane. So you're able to take out those elements that you don't need. And this is the second time I filmed this video, because the first time I was so frustrated because I wanted all my lines straight, and I was trying very hard to do it right. But I was fussing at myself, and it wasn't pretty. But today is a new day, and we're done with our fire truck. So now I can go into my layers, and there's my original image, but if I turn off that layer, that's what I'm left with. That is my attempt at drawing a fire truck. And because I am a perfectionist, I'm going to go try to fix this little nub here. There we go. Now I'm good. Alright. So now we've got our fire truck, and we just need our dog. So I'm going to add another layer. Or no, yeah, I'm going to add another layer. And then I'm going to insert a photo. And I'm going to insert my dog. So there's my dog image. I can make it as big or as small as I want. And since I'm in a different layer, it's not going to impact the fire truck. Like, I can turn the fire truck completely off. It's still there, but it's out of the way. It's not messing with what I'm looking at. Now, I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm just going to erase. Oops. I'm going to erase some of this just to get the busyness out. Just to get the busyness out of the way. I'm going to leave a little bit of that person's hand drawing so that I don't mess with the lines that I need. Alright. So, now, I'm going to move him up the page. Just so it's at the top. I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be moved up. I'm going to go to the left set of icons, and the last one is the mouse pointer. And you can see it selected my dog and where that original kind of image was. So now I can tap and drag him and put him up at the top. And, center him on the page. I'm going to make him a little bit smaller and then zoom in. And then you tap and that goes away. So there it is. Now I'm ready to copy the dog. I'm going to add a new layer. And start. And I had an awful time. Oh, I forgot to go into my third layer, which is where the original image of the dog is, and lower the opacity by tapping the end there. Now, I'm going to go back to layer 4, and I'll copy my dog. And you can see, the good thing about these rounded images is you can also snap. I shouldn't say snap. You can tap and hold, and they will smooth out as well. I don't like that. And again, you just use 2 fingers to tap and undo. 2-finger tap undos. And a 3-finger tap is a redo. There we go. I'm going to do his muzzle. Oop. My hand slipped, so I got to redo it. And when you tap and hold, you can increase the size of whatever you're doing. So you can see it's a little bit short, so I can make it bigger to cover the edges of those lines. But it's not exactly how I want it. So this is the hard part for me personally, because I want it to look right. I want to do a good job. That's basically what it boils down to. So now I can do his eyebrows. Oops. Do his eyebrows. And then this is another cool part of this is you can just draw the outline. Oh my gosh. And just draw the outline. And instead of coloring that in, you know, up here on the right where my color was, instead of tapping into that, I'm going to go ahead and draw this other eye. Instead of tapping into that, tap and hold and drag that. You get like a little dot of whatever color you've selected. And you can drop it into whatever. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I accidentally changed the color somehow. Tap and hold, drag it, and it fills in that color. And I can do the nose the same way. So, draw the nose, smooth it out. As long as you have boundaries. So, if I were to take it right, I draw a U. This isn't in the top, or I'll draw a square and the top's not closed all the way. When I go to fill it, it's going to leak out. Just like, just like if you were trying to keep it, you were trying to keep it in the lines. If you don't have a line, then it's going to fall out of it. So, I've got his head and his nose done. I'm going to draw finish up his mouth or nose and all this stuff. There we go. And you can see, I mean, this is a little longer video than I usually try to do, I think. I don't know, it's been so long since I did a video, honestly. But it doesn't really take as long as you would think it would. So these feet are the worst feet. I have to keep just telling myself with the feet. Yesterday when I did it, just let it go. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it works, it's good enough that if I were to raise these lines, the student would be able to use it appropriately and be able to get the information out of it that they needed. It does not have to be perfect. At least that's what I try to tell myself. Do I follow my own advice? No. There's something weird there with that. I'm just going to let it go. Just going to let it go. Because I think it's just where that foot has come in and those lines are hitting. So I'm going to do his other back leg. And then I'll do his tail. And we've got our dog. So, now, you say, okay, Alicia, you've got a fire truck done and a dog done. But you turn both layers on and they're on top of each other. How are you going to move that? So, I'm going to go into whatever layer. Let's say I want to make it that the dog is on top of the fire truck. I'm going to select it. Select the layer. Tap the mouse icon on the left, and then that selects what's on that layer. Now, if you were doing some kind of artsy something, you could do that with, you could use the ribbon and select a specific group of images on that layer. But just know, go into the layer that you want to move and tap that mouse. You can resize it, you can tilt it or rotate it, you can spin it around. Okay, there's the rotation. I don't know what that is doing. Anyway, basically you can put it in whatever position that you want it to be in. Now, we've got our images. If we want to make different sets of these same images. So what I recommend to do is go to gallery. Once you finish your images that you want to keep, select that untitled artwork, and on the right I just tapped select. I tap the untitled artwork, and then it gives me the option on the right to duplicate, and that's what I'm going to hit. So it copies that image exactly as I made it. So I'm going to go into the copy, and let's say I want the dog to be in front of the fire truck. So if I'm thinking that in relation to it being in a layered tracing clear paper, that means I want my dog layer number 4, to be on top of the layer that's got my fire truck in it. So I've got the layers for the original images turned off because I don't need that anymore. And you could even delete these. So if you swipe to the left, you can delete the original images. So now you just have the fire truck layer and the dog layer. So I want my dog to be in front of my fire truck, but right now he's on top. So I'm selected on the dog layer. I'm going to tap the mouse button. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to move him down in front of it, make him a little bit bigger, and just get it in whatever section I want. Now, I might even want to make the fire truck a little bit bigger. But it's where I was messing with the rotation. It's a little bit off, so I'm going to fix that. There it goes. There we go. Now we got it. Alright, so I'm going to make it a little bit. Let's just make it a little bit long. No, we can't do that. Alright. There we go. Now we can see kind of the back out of it. And actually, let's make the dog bigger again. So I went back to the dog layer. I make him a little bit taller. And you might think, oh my God, that is way too big. Because if you look at it now, if that was a piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, look how much room I'm taking up on that. But we'll get to that in a minute. So now I've got my dog on top of my fire truck, and that is a big, cluttered up visual mess. So I'm going to go back to my fire truck layer, and I'm going to select my eraser, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to erase all the parts of the fire truck that I don't want. Now, what if your student can have a colored image? You know, let's say I go and I get a red. You stupid thing. I'm going to go get a red, and I'm just going to drag it. And again, because I've got that layer selected, I'm not doing anything to the dog. So I've got a red fire truck. And it might be easier for you to see it this way. There's my hubcaps. Maybe we've got a gray body, or whatever that part of the thing is called. Oh gosh. There we go. And then you don't have to do all this. I'm just showing you how you can. What's happening there is I'm dropping the color on the lines. Stupid thing. Instead of filling. There we go. So, do this last ladder and the gray on the top, and we'll be ready to go. I think it will be easier for you to see this way anyway. Alright, let's go back and get my gray. So now there's my fire truck. But I still want my dog on top, right? I am going to make sure I'm on my fire truck layer. And then you just erase everything that's behind it. So if this was just black and white, you're just erasing those lines. I just colored it in so that you could see what I was doing, sort of. I'm going to make my eraser bigger so we're not here all day long. So I'm just making sure that I don't go outside of the line of the dog. There's his foot. Now I just got to do his tail. And again, you don't have to have it colored. It can be just the lines like you saw before. That was just to help you see what I was erasing. And because, like I said, I'm on the fire truck layer, I can move it over the lines of the dog like I am now, and it's not going to do anything. There we go. So now we have our fire truck behind our dog. And it could be the same thing except the opposite way. So I'm going to go back to my gallery, select my untitled artwork again, duplicate it, and then I'm going to go in and select. I'm going to go in. I'm going to select my fire truck, make it bigger. Then I'm going to go, I'll delete those original images because I don't need those. I selected my dog. I'm going to tap my mouse, make my dog bigger. Alright, so I need to move my fire truck down again. Alright, so this is where, I want the fire truck on top of the dog. But if I were to erase it, whatever image you want to be on top of the other needs to be on top in the list. So I want my fire truck to be on top of the dog. So I'm going to tap that layer, drag it, and put it over the dog layer. So now when I move it, it'll be on top when I erase. So I'm going to go to my dog layer, since it's going to be behind the fire truck. And just like last time, since it's going to be behind. Okay, so I finally figured out how to explain the on top part. So if you had your dog and your fire truck both colored in, and you put the fire truck layer on top, then the color would be over the color of the dog, should they both be colored in. But where we just have one colored in right now, or neither one of them colored in right now, it's kind of hard to see that. But if they were both colored, then the colors of whatever's on the top layer are going to cover whatever is below that. So, and because we just have a line drawing, technically there's no color other than just the lines. So once you play around with it, you'll see. I'm just going to make him a little gray dog, so we're not here all day. But, I mean, you could make this a Dalmatian. You can make it whatever you wanted it to be. So, this will help me know what I'm erasing. So, my fire truck's on the top. I've colored the little dog. And now, this is going to be a little bit harder because of the intricate parts of the fire truck. But you're just making sure that the only thing left, like, let's see, you're just wanting to make sure that there's nothing overlapping your fire truck image. So we kind of have to pay attention to what would be on top. So there's his, let's see, no, okay. So this is part of the fire truck. I know that part of the ear is not going to be showing. There we go. We know it's not going to be on the top. But then you can see the ear that's behind it. Here we go. Basically, we want to make sure that our fire truck remains white. So, now I can make it a little bit bigger. Oops. I don't want to. And you can adjust the size of your pen or eraser as much as you need to. There we go. So now you can see a little bit of him through the window. You can see that the dog is behind the fire truck. Now, before we talked about, now that's taken up a lot of space. And I want to make the image as a whole smaller. I don't want to move anything. I don't want to move the fire truck, and I don't want to move the dog. I just want to size everything down to fit the size like it would be on an 8.5 by 11 paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap my fire truck layer, and you can tap and hold and drag it on top of the dog layer. So now it's grouped, and you can see whenever I collapse that group, it's all together. Now, when I tap my mouse, I'm adjusting both images at the same time, and if that's not satisfying, I don't know what is. Just to see all your work come together. I keep messing with that rotation thing. So now I've got it sized. It looks crooked. There we go. All right. Well, it's because my page is crooked. So now there's my 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm going to need it to be this size. And it does the width and height in pixels. I don't know none of that. But now I've got it there. I'm actually going to go back into my fire truck layer because I did something and messed up the nose of my fire truck. No. There we go. That's all it needed. I just cut it off a little bit on accident whenever I was messing with that rotation thing. Let's see. We'll do it like this. Oh my God. There we go. Now it's fixed. So, like I said, if you want, you have to group whatever set of images you want. Okay? So, if I want to move all of this, let's make a new layer. If I want to move all of this as a whole image, it has to be in a group. Okay? Now, if you use 3 fingers and, no, it's 4 fingers, no. 3 fingers and swipe up and down, it will clear off whatever you do to the layer. So let's say I've added a new layer. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to take 3 fingers and go up and down and it clears. So now I've got my image group. I can go back to the one, here's the one where the dog is on top of the fire truck. I'm going to layer them. Make sure the dog stays on top. Now when I select it, I can size it down and see when I zoom out about what it's going to look like on. You have to think of the size relative to the page. So there we go. There is our fire truck and dog. Now again, if you wanted to change the color when you have it in the line drawn form, you can change the background color and click and drag, oh my gosh, to change the line color. Now, like I said before, that's a learning curve. This is the background for the whole image. So, however I set it is how it's going to look. If I change the background to black and I send it as a PDF, that's what it's going to look like. But if I send it as a PNG, it's not going to have a background. So whatever I put this image into, it's not going to have that background. It's just going to be the lines and like the filled colors, if that makes sense. With that said, there is a learning curve. It does take some practice. You will get aggravated because whenever you've tried to move something, you've erased something, you have to go back and do it again. But with some time and practice, you can make good quality images for your students. Now, if you don't want to have it colored, like I said, you don't have to. But what I did with my cats that I did with my spatial concepts, I took them and put them into Canva and created a worksheet. So now I can send this worksheet home with my student. Let me just show it to you in Canva. I can put it into a worksheet and go, and I can let her cut and paste, work on integrate some of those fine motor skills, or I can send it home. Mom can read the words to her, and it's an activity that she's practicing some concepts at home. And or I could change it to where it would be accessible that way. If I put it on my virtual learning platform, she would be able to do it that way. So maybe you want to do a large print worksheet with text. You can make that in Canva also. If you want a Canva tutorial, let me know. But that's how I use Procreate to make images. Now, you can take realistic images. Like I said, I showed you my Braille writer. You could take pictures of the students and make it look kind of cartoony if you wanted to. It's just how far do you want to take it. So, that's the end of this tutorial. If you want another one, or if there's something specific you want to see, or how would you do this concept with Procreate, let me know, and I will make another video. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope this helps you be able to help your students. I hope it helps you be able to create images for your students, and helps you not to become frustrated with multiple different things going into making tactile images, or making some concepts that really engage your students. I hope it helps you be less frustrated, maybe saves you some time, whatever it is. If you will, like the video if you like it. Comment if there's something specific that you want, like a specific concept, like I said, or if you want the Canva tutorial, I can show you how I take my images that I created in Procreate and then put them into a worksheet. You could do some handwriting practice. You can combine elements that the kid needs to work on and make them visually accessible. So, or if you have a worksheet and you're like, how in the world would you do this? I'll be glad to make a video so that I can share it with other people. But if you want to be updated, because I'm wanting to get back into making some videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. But that's it for today. I hope you have a great night or great day, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye.